Today I'm behind with a brand new 2022 Acura MDX. Yes, that's right, this is a 2022 model because 2021 doesn't exist. And for this model year, the MDX went through a complete redesign from the ground up. Just about everything was improved or changed with this brand new MDX. Starting with the outside, you have a new look, a new stylish look. Also, dimensions have increased. The chassis has been made better as well. Same thing on the inside. Brand new cabin. It's a whole lot more luxurious, quieter fit and finish, features. It's a lot better, Also, things that you don't see, such as suspension, your super handling all-wheel drive, transmission, have all been retuned or changed for this model year. So just how good is this brand new MDX, and how does it stack up against the competition within the luxury midsize SUV segment? Well, keep watching and find out. Now, before I go for a drive, first let me tell you a little bit about the redesigned exterior, and same thing with the interior, this brand new cabin and some of the features you'll find in this brand new MDX. Now, starting with the outside, Acura did a fantastic job with this brand new exterior. It looks fresh, it looks modern, and very different from its predecessors. Now, starting with the front, very recognizable. This is the new Acura look. You have that very unique and big grille surrounded by chrome with a gigantic Acura emblem in the middle. And look at these stunning looking sleek LED headlights on both sides. Full LED, and of course daytime running lights is LED as well. And same thing with the fog lights underneath. Now, you could see the hood is quite long. It's massive, it's long, it's very sculpted. And Acura did this on purpose. It's part of their design language, and also it helps with handling. And that's because they pushed the whole cabin about 4 inches further from the engine than the predecessor. Now, moving aside, the MDX still looks like a proper mid-size SUV. However, it does look a bit sleeker because the roof comes down just slightly, but it does make a slight difference. Also, you can see those massive 20-inch wheels. That's part of the advanced package. They complete the look. And you do see some nice chrome. You have some chrome underneath the doors and also around the windows, and there's a little chrome piece that sticks out in the front. Now, moving to the back, I really like this design. Of course, you have the usual shark fin antenna, a small spoiler, and privacy glass, but look at those sleek looking LED taillights, and also look at those massive chrome finishers on the bottom. I really like the overall look. I think it's a fantastic upgrade versus the previous generation. Now, with this MDX, of course, you get a power liftgate, and behind the third row, you have a good amount of space. It's a little bit bigger than the previous generation. Underneath, you have some hidden storage. Now, to fold down the third row, it is manual, it's not powered, but that's okay. It's actually pretty quick that way. And what I like is, take a look, the second row and third row seats are completely flat. Yes, all the way flat, not even at an angle, which means you have a ton of cargo room inside this brand new MDX. Now, moving to the second row, you can see everything inside this MDX with this advanced package is covered in this beautiful perforated Milano leather. It definitely looks really, really stunning and adds good contrast with the rest of the cabin. Now, to get in the third row, you just have to press this button and they slide forward. The opening is kind of narrowed though. And the third row, even though it did get larger, still very, very, very uncomfortable for adults. So reserve for emergencies or for kids only. But in the third row, you do get one USB port and one cup holder on both sides. Now, moving to the second row, space is adequate, although I expected bigger. Behind my driving position, I have only about 3 to 4 inches of legroom left. I'm 5'10", and about the same with headroom, about 2 to 3 inches. Now, the seats do slide forward and backwards, which is nice. And also, what's nice about the second row is you can fold it down and get more cup holders, or you can simply remove it so that your second row becomes captain chairs, and it makes it much easier to get in and out of the third row. That's pretty cool. Rear passenger gets a pair of vents, climate control with heated seats if you have the advanced package. Also, you get plenty of ports. You have a household outlet, also 12V outlet, and 2 USB ports. And passengers also get sunshades. Now, moving up front, the dash design, center console, the cabin has been improved dramatically with this brand new MDX. One of the first things you'll notice is the real wood inlay on the door panels and on the dash. This comes with an advanced package. It definitely looks and feels nice. And everything else in here is covered with soft leather or soft material or piano black. Now moving the steering wheel, it looks pretty good. Modern design, also feels pretty good, right thickness, and the leather feels good too. On the right side, everything for your safety systems, including your adaptive cruise control. On the left side is more for media, music, phone. Also your heated steering wheel button is there. And you can see behind, you do get paddle shifters in case you want to shift yourself. Now moving to the digital gauge cluster, 12-inch digital gauge cluster. This is the very first for Acura, and it is very bright. I like the interface. On the right side, you can scroll through many things that you're used to, such as your trip computer, maintenance schedule, tire pressure, your G meter, super handling all-wheel drive, driver attention level, settings, and a whole lot more. Now on the left side, it does tell you what driving mode you're in, and what's cool is when you switch that driving mode, things change. Like comfort, you get more blue inside. In snow, it's about the same, but look at sport. The whole gauge cluster changed. You have a power monitor, your tachometer is now in the middle, right? Very, very, very cool. Now inside this MDX, you also have 3 settings for memory seats. You have power folding mirrors, and if you get the advanced package, you do get a huge heads-up display. And what I like is the buttons to control it. You could tilt up and down. You could also make it brighter or dimmer. You have dedicated buttons for that right on the side. Now moving to this brand new infotainment system, you do get a 12.3-inch screen. It is not touch, however, so it is set back a little bit so that you can't fumble around with your fingers. I do like the interface. It's split up like an 80-20 setup so that 80% you can look at various things like your navigation maps, also your settings. You do get wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, so that's nice. Also, for first time ever, you do get Amazon Alexa in here, and you get to look at various things on that 80% screen. But on that 20%, you could also look at different things like your radio and navigation and so forth. So it is split up both ways. Now, this infotainment screen is controlled by this touchpad setup. So again, just like the screen is broken up like an 80-20, and basically where you touch on that touchpad corresponds to the same location on the screen. So you could actually navigate pretty quickly, and you have one for the 80% screen and one for the 20% screen. They're controlled separately. And on top, you do have some buttons for like back and home and so forth. Now underneath the infotainment system, you have climate control, tri-zone in here, the aluminum switches for controlling temperatures, nice. Also, you do have heated seats and ventilated seats as long as you get the advanced package. Also, you have a very big aluminum rotary dial, and that is to control your driving modes that I showed you guys earlier. Underneath, you have push button shifter. On the left side, you have a dedicated button for engine auto start stop functionality and brake hold. And on the right side, you do have pop-out USB ports. That's pretty nice. Moving underneath, you do have a dedicated volume button and scrolling buttons for your media. And also with advanced package, you do get a wireless charger and HomeLink buttons on top and a giant panoramic sunroof on top of that. All right, I'm off. Let's see how good this brand new MDX is and see how it drives. First, I want to talk about this brand new and revised cabin, which is light years better than the cabin from the 2020 MDX. Not that that cabin was bad, but the dual screen setup was getting dated, and this is just a whole lot better. The fit and finish, the material, you know, just the whole overall design, everything about it is so much better. So when you first sit inside, you're like, wow, this is a nice SUV to be in, right? Now, some people will complain about this brand new infotainment system and how it's not touchscreen and how it's controlled with this touchpad setup. And yes, I would say that's a valid complaint, although Acura did a really good job with how this works. So if you do spend 5 minutes to learn how this works, it's actually pretty quick. It is actually very, very quick. In fact, I would argue it's quicker than using your fingers. But yeah, there's a learning curve to it, but I do like the large screen quite a bit. Love this new digital gauge cluster, which is a big improvement. And this is not even found on the brand new TLX. So this is exclusive to the MDX for now. I really like it. Also, if you get an advanced package, I can't show you, but you do get a very large heads-up display as well. So between these 3 screens, you pretty much get it all. What also helps with the cabin and the drive are these beautiful looking seats. Yes, with this advanced package, you get perforated Milano leather. They definitely look good, but they also feel very good, very comfortable. They're also sporty in a way. The back bolster, you know, does grab my back, so that I'm not sliding around in a good way. And the bottom cushion isn't very aggressive, but it's also comfortable yet supportive. So I do like that, and it's a 16-way adjustable seat if you have the advanced package, so you can adjust it however you want. But they are very nice. They make you feel very snug inside this cabin, and that's actually a good thing. Now, as for visibility, it's quite good. It's quite good. The hood is a little bit higher, but it does slant down quite a bit, so I can see well past the hood. The windshield, nice and big. Side windows are good too. I like the mirrors. They're enormous. I like big mirrors so that you can pretty much see anything out the sides. So visibility out the side's good. Blind spot is pretty good, and rear visibility is good too. I do have the 3rd row headrests up, so they do kind of block, you know, visibility, but overall, still pretty good. Now, the driving position, I kind of expected to be sitting a little bit higher. With this MDX, I feel like I'm sitting a little bit lower than a 3-row midsize SUV. So commanding view is okay. I kind of expected better, but for some of you guys, especially those of you guys on a shorter side, you actually like this a lot better because it's easier to get in and out of. Now, one thing that didn't change about this brand new MDX is the engine. Still the same, 3.5 liter V6, 290 horsepower, and that's still adequate for this class, for this type of SUV. Now, the transmission did change from a 9-speed to a 10-speed. Unfortunately, fuel economy didn't get any better. But with this 10-speed, I feel like it's pretty good around town. Normally with transmissions with higher gears like this, they tend to bog down the car at low speeds. Like right now, I'm going at 34 miles per hour, and it still feels good. So Acura definitely tuned it pretty well. Now, as for the interior space, it's adequate, but to be honest, I thought it would be a little bit bigger. So up here, you know, good amount of headroom, shoulder room, hip room, no complaints. This is still adequate mid-size SUV, but I kind of expected more from the 2nd row where, you know, I didn't have that much leg room. I kind of expected more. I didn't have that much headroom either. And in the 3rd row, it's quite disappointing because basically adults cannot fit back there at all. So I was a little surprised by the space in the 2nd or 3rd row, especially seeing that the dimensions increased for this year, and if you compare it to its corporate cousin, say the Honda Pilot, it's actually bigger dimension-wise, but the Honda Pilot has so much more room inside, so that's why I'm a little disappointed with the interior space. But overall, you're still gonna get plenty of space in here. Now, as for cabin noise, it's very, very quiet in here. I think Acura did a really good job with the installation. Nothing from the outside, really. No wind noise, cars passing by, road noise. Very, very muted. The only thing is when you floor it, when he's really gun it, you hear a lot from the engine. But outside of the engine noise, it's very, very quiet in here. Now, as for steering, it's good, but could be better. Right now, I'm in normal mode, so later on, we'll test out in sport mode, but I do like the steering wheel quite a bit. I think there's a decent amount of weight, but the precision is a little lacking. There's a good amount of, you know, steering wheel play, as you can see here, but overall, it isn't bad. I just think it could be better, but I do know that if I change it to sport, it will change the steering to sport, and I'm going to compare the difference. Now, as for suspension, it's kind of just like the steering. It's good, but could be better. I do feel like the suspension is on the stiffer side, which I'm quite surprised by. I thought it would be more comfortable. Now, it could be because Acura is really making a point to make this MDX more sporty, more fun, and more engaging to drive. So they could have stiffened up the suspension just a little bit. On roads right now, just local roads, I definitely feel more from the bumps and dips and imperfections whenever it's not really, really smooth. It isn't too bad, but like I said, I've driven other luxury cars that definitely felt much softer on the open roads like this. This one feels a little bit more stiffer. Okay, I changed to sport mode right before testing out acceleration. I went from about 25 to about 60 right there. And it was okay. It was okay. Honestly, I kind of expected a little bit more from this combination. So this is kind of middle of the pack. I think the biggest difference between, let's say, MDX and say its German counterparts is that the German counterparts do have optional engines. Very, very powerful V8 or turbocharged engines that's just not available yet for the MDX. And I say that because Acura does plan on releasing a Type S MDX pretty soon in the near future, and that Type S will have a more powerful engine producing 355 horsepower. So that one should definitely help with acceleration. Now, right before this video, I reviewed a brand new 2021 Acura TLX, and there was some small nitpicks I mentioned with the TLX, and I think Acura took feedback and fixed them all because they no longer exist with this MDX. Really surprised by that. Number one is the rear view camera system. And inside this advanced package, you do get a 360 view system too, which is nice. But when you put the MDX in reverse, you can see the whole screen is used for the rear camera and the 360 camera. Inside the TLX, both were occupying just the 80% part, not the 20% part. So now this has been fixed where it utilizes the entire screen, which is great. Also with the TLX, the screen is pushed further in the dash, which makes it harder to see. It's smaller. This screen is closer to you. So this is also improvement. So those two things, two nitpicks I had, have been fixed with this MDX. Also, I was complaining about lack of USB ports. There was literally like nothing with the TLX. There was two inside the armrest and that's it. There was none for the rear passengers, none up here. Well, Acura, listen. So there's two USB ports right up here, right at your fingertips. And also there's two in the back too. So yeah, there's USB ports in here. That's a big plus. Plus you get the two in the third row. And lastly, this is very, very small indeed, but I made a nitpick about how the key fob for the TLX was just enormously big. It was just so big that it didn't make any sense. You know, guess what? The key fob with the MDX has been improved. It's smaller, it's sleeker. It is something that not a whole lot of people pay attention to, but since I review cars all day long, I notice it. So the TLX key fob was enormous. This one is now smaller. So all the nitpicks I had, the small nitpicks about TLX, they were all fixed with this MDX. So kudos to Acura. Now, a big thing that improved with this MDX that I can't really test right now, I'm not on a course and there's no snow or anything out, is the super handling all-wheel drive, which has improved with this new generation. It's torque vectoring, so up to 70% of the power could be pushed to the rear wheels and up to 100% could be pushed to either side. So it has been improved, so definitely make it better in slippery situations or when you need maximum traction. It is there. It is there. Also, as for safety systems, Acura Watch pretty much gives you everything. Emergency braking, warning, lane assist, lane warning, adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert. Basically everything you could think of, you get with Acura MDX. Now, as I'm coming to a stop, brakes are good. Brakes are good. The brake pedal itself has a good linear feel, very predictable. The MDX comes to a stop, pretty normal. There's not a whole lot of nosedive or anything like that. So the brakes are good. Now, I just set the MDX back to sport mode and I can feel the revs going up a lot more. It holds the revs more before it shifts. So that does get annoying driving around town with sport mode on. However, the throttle feel is more aggressive, more instant. So it does add to the drive a little bit. And also, I do feel like the steering seems like it's stiffened up a bit, but the precision is still the same. It didn't get it didn't get more precise. The weight changed slightly, but it's an artificial weight, so it's still not the best feel. So in terms of steering, it didn't improve it. The throttle, it did slightly, but it's kind of annoying around town. So that's why I normally never drive with sport mode on. Next up, let me talk about pricing and sum up the good and bad to this brand new Acura MDX. As for pricing, the base MDX starts under $47,000 with front-wheel drive and under $49,000 with super handling all-wheel drive. The technology package comes in around $4,700, the A-Spec package around $3,500, but it does require you to add on a tech package, and the advanced package, which comes in at over $7,000, also requires a technology package. So the one I'm driving today with super handling all-wheel drive and advanced package and tech package comes in around $61,150. To conclude, the new 2021 Acura MDX is very much improved over the last generation. The outside is sleeker, more athletic, and modern. The size has grown, so the MDX is bigger on the inside with more cargo room and passenger room. The MDX also received a brand new chassis along with new suspension to make the ride better and make the MDX more agile. The interior cabin is outstanding with great use of leather, soft material, and fit and finish is also outstanding. The combination of 3 screens is excellent, and there are plenty of USB ports and features within. Lastly, the MDX provides a quiet and comfortable ride. The bad include average acceleration, and the engine is a tad loud at times. The infotainment screen is not touch, and the touchpad does take getting used to. The MDX also doesn't feel as big as the other 3-row SUVs on the inside. Finally, many of the nice features that I've showcased today are optional and part of a more expensive package. Overall, I'm giving a brand new 2021 Acura MDX a score of 103. To see where it ranks, check out driversonlyrankings.com. Thanks for watching, hit the like and subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Also, in the meantime, check out these 2 other cars.